So someone in my last video about Pothos told me they were growing theirs completely submerged for 3 months now with no issues in their aquarium. So this video is kind of inspired by that. I've got this piece that you see right here in this tank. This has been growing in here for a little over 1 month now, just completely submerged. It has not reached up to the top. You can see here, this is in here with guppies, and I have a bristlenose pleco in here. This is some golden Pothos. This does have some pretty good light on here. You can see I've got some other plants in here. I've got jungle val going in the back. I made a video on that I got from Amazon. I've got Salvinia minima up here on the top growing. But as you see from the top here, this is pretty much just reaching to the surface, this golden Pothos. So this has been in here, as I mentioned. I was like, you know what, if they're doing that long, let me see. And I have not noticed any negative side effects with this either. You can see kind of how this grows up. Obviously, it kind of, like other plants, just wants to grow to the light. So you can see it's got some roots coming off of it here. It's got multiple leaves. It's actually grown, more leaves. Yeah, you can see right there kind of what these leaves look like. They're not rotting or anything like that. They're completely healthy. They do have a little bit of algae kind of growing on them. I'll show you right here if I pull this out. You could see a little bit kind of, there's some algae kind of on the edge growing. But otherwise, it's doing well in here. So I think, what it's going to do is just gradually kind of make its way up to the top. If you put something in on the bottom like that even, it immediately kind of wanted to just go straight up. So if you do submerge this, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to survive. And I think by the time it would possibly die, what it's going to do instead is just make its way up to the surface and get closer to that light and probably start growing out of the tank a little bit. So I've got that in this tank. I've got this in like 4 or 5 different tanks now. Over on this small tank right here, you can see this is just kind of like a shrimp tank. I've got this stuff just submerged in here. I don't even care anymore about trying to keep, any of this stuff really out of the water. Everything here has been fine as well. And this is growing well out of here. And this is just a regular Pothos, not the golden Pothos. This tank over here is in between these 2 windows. So this one gets a lot of light, and you can see here I've got some Pothos also sticking out of the top of this right here. So this one is actually kind of in one of these planters. I'm gonna make another video on that, so subscribe if you don't wanna miss that when it comes out. But this planter kind of just contains the roots of this right here, but this one you can see is doing very well also. And then this tank is kind of by a window here. This one isn't doing quite as great. This is another golden Pothos. This one I just have kind of in the back here where I have that little gap between my lid. This just has the roots that kind of go down into the water. This one's got a bunch of guppies and everything in here too. So I wouldn't be too worried. I know some people say, like in that other tank where I have that underwater, people have said that those leaves are toxic, fish eat them and things like that. With the guppies I've had in there, shrimp I've had in there, and albino bristlenose pleco, everything in there has been fine. I don't think fish really have a tendency to eat those. They're kind of like a waxy type leaf. And my pleco hasn't even gone at those whatsoever. It hasn't tried to eat them or anything. So I made a video on how I'm using Pothos in the aquarium. If you want to check that out, that's going to be popping up right here at the end. Also, once this review is ready with those little holders for the Pothos that I showed you, that'll also be popping up here. But like the video if you found this helpful, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.